Hello, Richard Beech here from SonicState.com, and today I'm looking at the new Jim Dunlop Band of Gypsys Mini Fuzz Face, which is quite exciting. So what this is a recreation of a circuit that Jimi Hendrix used in his heyday. He showed up to a couple of gigs, I think, one of them being Woodstock, with a fuzz face that looked a lot like this, but obviously the bigger version. And since, people have been trying to find out what that circuit actually was, because it wasn't a fuzz face circuit. And now, Jim Dunlop think they've recreated it. It's basically an Octavia circuit without the octave up. I'll explain more about that later on, but quite obviously right now you just want to hear it. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate a couple of different settings to the one I just played and show you what it sounds like. So here we go. Okay, so not a very Hendrixy setting on that last one, but basically if you really push this, it can go incredibly heavy, sort of Queens of the Stone Age, Royal Blood territory. But back to the actual Hendrix thing. What is interesting about this pedal, I think, is that the Octavia circuit, it's not going to do the same thing that a fuzz face did. So what actually people think happened at those famous Hendrix gigs is that the circuit went something like fuzz face, wah, and then this sort of botched Octavia circuit, and that's what gave it such a distinctive sound. So what's interesting is that you can sort of add a load more fuzz and noise and stuff like that into this. Instead of having fuzz face and this other thing separately, you've got it in one compartment. If you put it after a wah, and Jim Dunlop have just released a new mini Crybaby wah, then you could get some pretty Hendrix-esque sounds out of it. So what I'm going to do is just go through some of the settings, give you some playing examples, but I'll do some Hendrix-esque stuff without actually trying to sound too much like Jimi Hendrix, because I can't. So here we go. Okay, now I'm just going to go incredibly heavy, just show you what the pedal can do. Okay, so where the pedal really comes alive for me is in the sort of dynamics of picking on higher notes, so the top two strings, which is really what it was used for solos, we think, anyway, the circuit this is based on. So it's Germanium fuzz circuit. It's really responsive, and you have to kind of play around with it quite a lot to just get it to play ball with you. It's just, it's so incredibly percussive. So while it sometimes gets muddy on the E string and the A string, those top two strings, you can push it as hard as you want, and all you're going to get is nice lead solo sound. There's so much power and growl and noise behind it, you don't even have to use your right hand. Okay, so what I've done is I've got a Dunlop Crybaby Mini and just put it before the fuzz. The wire is on the floor, just so that you can hear what it sounds like, because that's how it was actually used. So here we go. Okay, so there you go. It is undoubtedly a lot of fun to play around with and a great sounding fuzz pedal, but I think what a lot of Hendrix fans will be thinking when they want to purchase it is this sound that they've been after for years actually going to be in this particular pedal? And that is, it's an interesting question. It's been much sought after sound, and I think it's almost entirely impossible to get the sound from a circuit which was lost. The actual unit was lost. We don't really know much about it other than anecdotal evidence. The components would be a lot different to the ones that would be available now as well, and also it's in a much smaller encasing. So yeah, there's sort of a lot of question marks there. It is a great fuzz pedal. It can make you channel Jimi Hendrix, I think, but obviously you're never going to quite get the feeling of Jimi Hendrix playing into the particular amp that he was playing into, his guitar being as amazing as Hendrix's and just feeding off of all those different components, all those different things that he was using. But if you want a Hendrix-esque fuzz face that does sound kind of a bit gnarlier and a bit just kind of more brutal than the standard Germanium fuzz face, then yeah, this is a great option. It is crazy, and you can just crank it and do the kind of things that Hendrix did at Woodstock. See? So it is a lot of fun. It's got the sort of official Hendrix stuff on it, which doesn't mean much to me because he's dead, so I don't see how I can endorse it, but his estate endorses it and stuff, and that might mean something to you. But for around 120 quid in the UK, or probably around $150 in the US, it's a good value for money pedal. Just a great Germanium fuzz that seems like it's been given a steroid injection. Very recognisable circuit, recognisable pedal. It's a nice piece of guitar history. Sort of renewed and given a new lease of life. And one thing that is actually pretty awesome about it is that even though I've been running it on a 9-volt power supply, DC power supply, you can actually use a battery. The original ones ran for a very, very long time on a 9-volt battery, but also you can, I don't know if you can really see that on the camera, but you can see how they've done the circuitry in there. Everything's sort of stacked on top of each other. It looks really, really cool. So there you go. May Jimi Hendrix, wherever you are, look down and bless all of us guitarists. And thank you for watching the review, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. We also have a review of the Crybaby Mini, which I've been sort of using a little bit in this review, so make sure you check that out as well. Thank you.